Alright, YouTubers, this is one old army guy here, and what I'm going to show you today is making chili using dried beans. This is for when, you know, either you have when it hits the fan scenario, or you just want to use your dried goods, because obviously using dried goods is a lot cheaper than going to the store and buying your products in a can. Now, if you have the means to do it, that's great. I know a lot of people out there don't have a lot of the means. I'm pretty new to getting into this prepping world, even though I've always kept food supplies and ample amount of ammunition and water in the house just in case of a natural disaster. I never really looked at the long-term aspects of surviving in an urban environment. Now, we don't have a bug-out location. I don't have a bug-out bag. I don't have a bug-out vehicle because I'm believing in the survive-in-place mentality. We're hundreds of miles away from family. We live in an urban environment, and I just don't have the means to be able to get out there and, you know, have a camp out in the wild where I can say this is where we're going to have our bug-out place. But anyways, like I said, today's subject is chili. As you can see here, I've got 5 beans set up. I've got some garbanzo beans, otherwise known as chickpeas. That's about 2 pounds right there in a mason jar. Some red kidney beans, black beans, Great Northerns, and pintos. These are all that's all 2 pounds in each jar. And I know some guys like to put them in cans, number 10 cans. That's just a lot of beans to have open, especially if you don't use them all the time. I like the mason jar. Easy to store, still keeps it airtight. Varmints can't get into it, so you don't have to worry about things of that nature. Can't, you know, get the bugs unless bugs came with it. But anyways, what I'm going to show you here is just the basic preparation of doing this. And the basics is with the garbanzo beans, I'm going to use a 1/4 cup. I'm going to use a cup of red kidney beans, a cup of the black beans, a cup of the Great Northerns, and probably 1/2 cup of the pinto beans. And I'm going to go ahead and add all those in to the bowl here and take a look at what happens here. So I'm going to measure all these out. Alright, YouTube, as you can see right here, here is my my bowl of beans. They've all been sorted out and put into the bowl in the measurements that I wanted. Next I'm just going to add some water to this and let them soak overnight for about 8 to 10 hours before I start cooking them in the morning. This is a lengthy process. There are quicker ways you can do this. You can do the beans with hot water for a few hours, 2 to 3 hours, to try to soften them up. But I'm going to do this the old traditional way, where you let them soak and then bring them back in using just regular water. Let them soak and then rinse them out, and then we'll cook them up in the morning and simmer them all day for dinner. Now, this is going to make a massive pot of chili. With this, I will also add a couple cans of tomatoes, a couple pounds of pork, ground pork, and I like to use venison, but you can also use beef if you don't like venison. I've got a father-in-law does not like venison at all, but he loves my chili, so how does that tell you there? But you know, in a hit-the-fan scenario, if you had venison and you can get a deer and you can grind it up, you have the means to do that, then you've got something where you can actually put some nutrition on the table. The other thing, too, with this is you can, you know, chili and rice and spread it out and make it go a little farther if you need to. Now, I know from experience, after a couple days of eating chili, when I do this, you get tired of eating the chili. So, you know, nice thing about it is it does keep well. And you can, you know, have it, mix it up. You can do it on pasta, you can do it on rice, you can do it by itself. It just depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the water into this, and the amount of water is usually about 2 cups of water for a cup of beans. So within this is going to be about close to 6 cups of water on this in this bowl. Alright, as you can see here, I've added, I actually added 7 cups of water to this, and I'll let this soak overnight. And then as this soaks, it'll bring up the water, and they'll plump and they'll fill out. and I'll rinse them off in the morning, and then I'll start the whole process of making the chili. And I like using a mixture of beans instead of just a couple types, because it adds a little color to it and makes it fun. But so I'll get back tomorrow, and we'll get the rest of this process going, and I'll show you guys how it's done, right from dried beans to the plate. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon, YouTubers. Okay, here we go. This is the next morning. I've got the beans. They've soaked overnight, and as you can clearly see, they've dramatically enlarged and sucked up a lot of the water. What I'm going to do now is just kind of rinse them off and get them into the pot and get them cooking, and let them simmer all day long, and hopefully have a big old tasty pot of chili here by the end of the day. Okay, here we are. I've got the beans in the pot. I've got tomatoes in there, and some extra liquid. You can use water, or you can use beer. I like to use a little bit of beer. I like the taste it makes for the chili. Now, as you can hear over here, I've got my pork and my venison frying up. In about another minute or so, I'll take that and put that into the pot here, oil and all, and get the flavor and the fat in there. And then over here, I've got 3 peppers that I've cut up. Now, mind you, if I had my own garden going, they'd be out of my garden, not store-bought. Unfortunately, where I live right now, it's still the middle of winter. We've still got a few feet of snow on the ground, and hopefully starting to melt here shortly, we'll be able to get a garden growing. So there's that. They'll also add an onion to it, and of course you season it to your tastes. I tend to like to do a sweet chili, something that's the kids will enjoy, and then other people will enjoy it as well. If they want to add some heat to it, you can add your favorite hot sauce or a little more chili powder, or whatever you've got. Now, obviously, in a hit the fan scenario, seasonings are going to be probably, I would figure, at a premium, so you'll want to use it sparingly. But at least doing something like this here, you're going to make a lot of food. I mean, I've got a family of 4, and typically my pots of chili will, 3, 4, 5 days of lunches and dinner. And then, people are saying that's a lot of chili, don't you get sick of it? Yeah, we do. That's why I try to break it up. But it's nice too, because you don't have to use the venison. You can use pork, or you can use just ground beef, or you can use whatever you've got that you want to put in there. Some people like to use turkey or chicken. It really just comes down to what's available. And there again, you don't have to use the meat. You can just do the beans, beans and the veggies, and put it over rice or spaghetti, and spread it out and make it go a little farther. So I'll come back in a little bit. I'm going to cook this up. This will sit on the pot and simmer all day long, and I will get the meat and the peppers and the onions in here, and we'll come back in a little bit, and we'll show you how it's going along, and then we'll show you how it sits on the plate and how it tastes. Okay, so here we go. This is the finished product. It's going on 10 to 5 now, and this is simmered all day long, and you can see the beans, and it's looking pretty darn good. It smells great. As Emerald would say, you need smell-o-vision to really get the aroma of this. But you can see that it cooked down. It didn't quite make as much as I thought it was going to make in this pot. Usually when I make a batch of chili with this pot, it's full right up to about here. So it's not quite as much as I thought it would have made out of this with these beans. But I'll do it again, and we'll see how we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop some up and get over here into the bowl. Made a little bit of a mess. Take a look at that, and we'll grab a spoon. Let's take a taste. That is really good. Got sweetness, a little bit of spiciness to it. Not too much, but just enough. Alright, so we're doing the taste test of this, and just want to say this is looking really good. Tasting really good. Sweetness, got some little bit of spice to it. Some of the beans still have a little bit of a crunch. I like it. It actually gives it a little texture. And with this, you don't taste the venison at all because it just blends in with all the other flavors that are on here. But this was really just something that is really good to, easy to do, and you can stretch this a long ways. You can make a cup of chili and a cup of rice, and you've got a nice meal for somebody, and nutritious as well. So hope you guys enjoy watching the video, and if anybody has any questions, or other than what my recipe is, I do not give my recipe out for chili. So hope you enjoy watching. Thanks. One Old Army Guy out.